Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So this upcoming event is called the Devil's Steel, and it's a Dark Commander event, and it's a second time we're seeing the Vault system. Alright, so for anyone who's new, the Vault is a way for you to be a free-to-play player and get rewarded for playing, and it also gives people the opportunity to spend gems if they wanted to get cards early or anytime during the event if they don't feel like waiting anymore. So it kind of caters to both worlds, but I will say it can get very costly for you to use the gems to get where you need to, because there are a total 2 vaults in this system. I'm not going to go to too much detail of the mechanics here. I'll just do a quick overview. So basically you can use gems here to purchase cards. And with 4,000 gems, you can draw 10 cards. With 500, you can draw 1 card. And then you can also use the in-game currency to draw up to 50 cards. And the way they do it is through these 2 different vaults. One's called the Epic Vault, and the second one's called the Master Vault. Everyone starts in the Epic Vault. The only way to move on to the next vault is if you're able to get all 3 cards from the gold rewards. So in this case, you can see the 2 feature cards plus a relic. So it is nice that by playing without spending any gems, you have a possibility of getting these cards as well, because all of these cards are available and you can get them. And once you move into the Master Vault, you can see that now there are more cards, but there are way more cards in the bronze tier. So you can see the bronze rewards. You're going to be getting lots of guitar picks and guitar materials and gold. All right, so the challenge here is if you're choosing to use gems, I would be prepared to spend lots and lots of gems to get the collection that you want, because based on what I've seen, it can get really costly in the Vault event. So either you're a pure free-to-play player or you might need to spend a lot of gems. So just be very careful if you do decide, moderate the spending there. So let's take a look at the cards themselves, because I think that's mainly what I wanted to do here is to evaluate the effectiveness of this deck. Is it worth it? Is it worth it for you to go ahead and use the gems to speed up the process? Or, is this something that you can just, sort of grind away at? In my opinion, just to begin, I've evaluated this. I've been looking at this pretty much since the deck came out, and I don't think that it's worth the gems. And then we'll kind of go into that. So I think I'm going to be a pure free-to-play player, and I'll kind of go into the reasons why. So Victus Lord Killer, battle skill here, decreases team damage taken from attacks by 10% and powers up God's Flesh. I can take a look at a 6-star here to see a better, more accurate stats here. So it actually decreases the damage by 15%, and then it will power up God's Flesh Corrupted at Thrall, so with a cooldown of 3 turns. It does have a passive that generates 4 corrupt intensity per turn, so this is just like Sarkassa from the previous event, except this card doesn't do anything except support the ultra rare card, and we'll take a look at the other card as well. Now Narfunk, the Beat Devil. So this card generates 4 corrupt intensity at 5 stars, and it attacks for 3,500 attack, and then on every 3rd use activates Steady Beat, which powers up God's Flesh. So this is kind of like Master Wu's style, where on every 4th turn that it attacks, it activates something. So in this case, every time you use it, on the 3rd time that you activate the battle skill, it will activate this Steady Beat. Now notice that the cooldown is 1 turn, so really with a 3 gem charge rate, you could actually just charge this up every single turn and use it. So effectively what you're saying is every 3 turns, it will activate Steady Beat. Okay, so now both of these cards are kind of like support cards for the ultra rare, and the ultra rare card, God's Flesh, will create 2 dark gems, and I believe at 6 stars it'll create 3 dark gems plus 1 additional for every 25 stacks. Probably drop down to 15 if it's 6 stars. And if the Steady Beat is active, creates 1 Power Gem 2. If Shredder's Shield is active, then create 1 Power Gem 2. Now, personally, I kind of feel like there was no reason for Narfunk to have this complicated mechanic, because you could have just made it every 3 turns, activate everything together, and then you'll get both of the power gems. I guess, this works if you don't have one or the other, but the reality is you're not getting more power gems by waiting that 3 turns. Like, it just feels like there's a more complicated mechanic using Narfunk compared to using what's this guy's name again, Victus, and you're getting exactly the same effect. You're only getting 1 power gem 2 as opposed to more. So I kind of feel like they could have simplified this a little bit, given the fact that you're not really getting much more out of it. So, and then we can take a look at Thrall Nuke Guard, Nuke God. This is the ultra rare card, and it creates 3 dark gems, so pretty much the same, and 1 additional for every 15 stacks of corrupt intensity. If Steady P is active, creates 1 power gem 4. Shredder Shield activates, it creates 1 power gem 4. So the way this deck is going to work is there is no deck really if you don't have the ultra rare or the ultra rare. And given that if you're a free to play player, you're not going to get the ultra rare card until the Master Vault. That means you're going to start with Victus, Lord Killer, that doesn't do anything in the battle skill except decrease damage, and then Narfunk, which again doesn't do anything except it deals a little bit of damage with that. So this deck without the ultra rare, unfortunately for me, is just not usable. All right, so keep that in mind. It's very likely if you're free to play, you're not going to have the set. And you could spend gems, but it's going to be pretty costly to get there. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like on the one hand, yes, it's nice, it's free, there's a possibility, but the deck itself isn't even that great when you have everything together. Because if you think about it, there isn't a whole lot of power gems that you can get. You need to have multiple cards that can either get you the power gems, or you need to have more than 1 ultra rare, or 1 ultra rare and 1 ultra rare, so that you can get up to 4. I think you could also pair up, if you just have the 1, you can pair up with the Fallen, because then that is pretty much the same as the other deck that was available. I can show you what I have, and that's my Dark Slayer, where the Crystal Phoenix is a Slayer card that creates 2 power gems, and then I have Albinus Reborn, which can create up to 5 power gems, not just power gems, dark gems, and then I can use the Fallen one to sort of get my dark gems close together, get them all lined up, and then attack. So this deck is actually pretty similar to this other deck there, to the main event deck, and so the mechanic is similar, but it's just that given the lack of the power gem creation there, you're not going to be able to deal a lot of damage. So that's my assessment there. So what are some of the other viable decks that you can use in the beginning if you don't have the ultra rare? So I would use the water deck. This is a very sort of staple deck that I've been using, that uses Priestess Screen and Icarus to increase the drop rate of the water gems, and then Quack to destroy all of the gems to put them together. Another possible deck is the Fire Commander deck from 2 events ago. Okay, so if you have Aladdin, or if you have Crimson Vengeance, that is actually a very viable deck. And again, this is a very similar style where I'm using the Night Sun to destroy all non-fire gems. I actually built my deck, update a little bit so that I have Cecilia the Proud that creates 2 power gems, and Dahlia the Bright that create a power gem each, so I can create up to 4 power gems and then match them for damage. There is a third deck here that I'm playing around with where I use Lady Aegisthus as the leader. So this card actually is one of the older ones that used to actually boost things like Dark Attacker, Dark Warrior. You don't really see that anymore now. They always focus on the color plus the type of cards, like Spirit versus Corrupt, etc. So Lady Aegisthus is very powerful because she can go across different types of dark cards. So I can actually have her boost Sir Elric of Bryn, which is another card that's pretty good. It has a passive that creates 1 dark gem every turn. The Fallen one is the one that will destroy all non-dark cards. And then Crystal Phoenix is another attacker card that I can boost, and then he will create the 2 power gems for me. And then I'm just gonna, I think I can bring Albinus to create more dark gems just to help with the overall damage here. So I don't know how much damage I can deal with this one, but what I wanted to do is to spend a little bit of time here just to kind of showcase how the decks might work. I think that'll be something that'll be a little interesting since I'm sort of building out the different decks. I just want to kind of go over each of them quickly and kind of talk about that. So this is going to be similar to when you bring in an ally from your commander events too. So for me, if I wanted to use my fire deck, I would want to go and look for somebody who has the previous fire commander. I'm wondering if anybody has it. So Valadim, I kind of don't want to waste it because I think I'm going to want to use that. So let's go with Ray. So just kind of the point here is to sort of see how this deck would work. So let's go ahead and use the fire commander. Okay, so this is very similar to the previous deck. This is the best way I can practice, unfortunately, and so I wish that I could go against a tough boss that isn't going to one-shot me like the Forge boss, but I think Companion should work just fine. So basically, with this type of deck, all you're going to try and do is make sure that you create your power gems by lighting up all of your battle skills. So in this case, Idalia doesn't take damage, so she's only going to create one power gem. But with, Cecilia will create only one, but with two Idalias as well, what I can do is I can just kind of, create 3 power gems, and I can see that they're nicely lined up. There's 4 total. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Night Sun here, and I'm going to, sort of line them up together. I'm going to use Wraith here just to get rid of this guy, and then I'll finish up this level. So now I can match the power gems here. Now keep in mind, you want to always match the highest power gem. So in this case, the power gem 4 and the 3. And then you want to continue on to build a chain as well. So what I'm going to do is do this, that, and then mess that one up. But you can see, so it deals, I can't see the true damage it's going to do in the commander event here because there's multipliers that's not being done here. But this is basically the gameplay, the mechanism for this deck. And next I want to show, let's show the other deck, Lady Agista. So now I can also bring in Mama Bear's Agista with me to do boost here, and let's see how this deck now will work. So this is the first time I'm trying something that is very different. It doesn't actually feature any of the well, I might change this so that it features the event card, but we'll see. Right? I think right now this deck seems reasonable because I'm getting good bonus from each of these. So let's see. I could actually create multiple power gems here. So that's what I want to do. And given that this deck also creates additional power gems, one of the things that you want to do is you want to also try and create other power gems of different affinities. So this is, well, I guess I'm using the Fallen, so that's not going to work. But if it doesn't actually doesn't convert it, then I can destroy, no problem. So the goal here is to use my Phoenix to create more dark power 4 gems here, and then use my Albinus. It doesn't actually convert the power gem in this case, that's fine. And then I'll go ahead and use the Fallen here. Now I don't have a card that will increase the drop rate, but this should be fine. And now in this type of situation where you have sort of power gems that are lined up without additional dark gems laying around, in this situation I would actually, besides the fact that there's 4 and 4 together, I would match these two anyway, because I have a way to actually then make this connect higher, and that will give you way more damage than if you were to do the swap of the other one, where you can't then connect to at least 3 or more. So if you can't connect power gem chains to at least 3 or more in both directions, when you do a swap, you're going to lose on a ton of damage. You might get the I'm gonna just quit this now. So you might actually get the multiplier, but you're not going to get the damage that you hope for. So the final deck that I wanted to show, I'm just going to bring in Icarus, that's fine, is again same thing for the Queen deck. This one features Freya as well, because she creates more power gems, she creates more water gems, and also she gives me a boost here. I may actually change this deck a little bit to bring in maybe a Circassa. We'll see. I think this one I have an option to actually bring in the previous card just to boost the total number of power gems I can create. I think that actually might be not a bad idea, because I can just get more power gems here. And then so again, this is exactly the same mechanism at this point. The only difference is with Icarus here, that actually significantly increases the drop rate. You can see how many gems actually drops, and so when I actually do my match here, I deal a lot more damage than I normally would with the other decks. So this is the 3 different decks I'm going to start with for this commander event, and as I progress through the vault, I will see what luck I get, because I do want to try and get the 13 bonus card, because I have all the prerequisite cards. I have Lord Dracula 4-star. I can level him up in the Dark Dungeon. And so with everything there, if I can get the ultra rare, then I'll finally get a 13 card for myself. So I am excited for that, but it might take me a while before I get there. So anyways, that's it for this video. This is for the preview. So hopefully this is helpful for you in preparation for the upcoming commander event. And once it starts, I'll take a look again and check back with another video on the update. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next time.